There are over 5,000 airlines in the world, and I found the absolute worst rated ones.
The flight attendants are extremely evil. They treat you terribly. Also, I found a small crack on the inside of the plane. Definitely unsafe. 1 star.
And that was only one out of the many terrible 1-star reviews that I'm gonna test today from the worst rated airlines. And at the end of the video, I'm going on a 1-star airplane that can apparently go into water. But the first airline I'm going on today is
Spirit Airlines. Yeah, Spirit Airlines has a 1.3 star. And guys, we got a new outfit, the strap fit. But let's take a look at the 1-star reviews to see what makes Spirit Airlines so terrible. Nighton V said, they are a fraud airline. They charged me for my child's milk bottle bag as a carry-on USD 100. Started shouting at us for closing the gate if we don't pay. 1 star. You're telling me it's $100 to bring a milk bottle bag? Why is that so expensive? Catherine said, luggage never made it onto the flight. AirTag in the case, 24 hours and still no communication. 5 hours wait on the live chat to be told, sorry, go to the baggage portal. Still no luggage. 1 star. And the scary thing is, I'm gonna do exactly what Catherine did. Check my bag. So hopefully this makes it onto the flight and it doesn't get lost. Chloe said, the most uncomfortable seats I've ever been forced to sit on. They're metal with a thin piece of leather fabric to give the illusion that there's padding. My legs and butt fell asleep. The seats don't recline. I've had more comfortable seating on a bus. 1 star. So Spirit Airlines apparently has the worst seating ever. That's great. Woo! Yeah. Crystal Grace said, super expensive with the secret add-ons. Dirty cabin with left behind trash from the previous flight. Uncomfortable. Hard seats like a carnival ride. I suggest you consider other airlines. 1 star. Daisy B has something to tell us, guys. Listen to this. The customer service is horrible and nasty. They make you feel like the ticket is free. IDC pay, but please treat us like human beings and not animals, ... You ask them something, they talk to you with attitude. 1 star. So I'm gonna get treated like an animal on this flight? Well, Spirit Airlines, I got some news for you. I already am an animal. Meow! You hear me, Spirit? I already am an animal, and you're not ready for me to hop on this flight.
I made it inside and I'm terrified. I have to check my bag. And when Catherine did, her luggage never made it onto the flight. I'm gonna put an Apple AirTag in the suitcase just in case.
Got the AirTag, and it's going in my bag.
Now I'm headed over to the security checkpoint. I've always wanted to see what's inside of these scanners at the airport. Hello? I can't see anything. I made it through security, woo! First thing I'm doing, buying milk. Cause we're finding out if Spirit will actually charge you $100 just to bring this tiny milk bag.
Cool, thank you. I'm sorry, Nick and V, but they let me bring it on. Made on the flight.
I made it onto the flight with a milk bottle bag for free. The flight attendant seems upset. I hope everything's okay. First thing I'm noticing is how little the legroom actually is. I barely fit in the seat. And my tray table also looks dirty. So Chloe's review about the seats being uncomfortable is true. I checked my AirTag's location and my suitcase made it onto the flight. Woohoo! Yeah! Thank you. Catherine, I'm sorry, but this review for me is false.
There are also a lot of 1-star reviews from people talking about one specific thing, and that's how you have to pay for literally everything on this flight.
Most airlines usually give out free snacks and water, but apparently Spirit makes you pay money.
Is there any way I can just get a water?
A water? Let me see. It's $4.49, bro.
$4.49.
It was $4.95 for the small cup of water. But on a good note, the flight attendants have been super nice so far and they haven't treated me like an animal. Meow.
Let's try out this expensive water. I spilled this all over myself and the mic.
Now let's find out how clean the bathroom is. Whoa, what is this? The floor's messy too, and there's a lot of dust. I'm getting out of here.
Overall, I'm just glad that my luggage actually made it onto the flight, but these seats are definitely very uncomfortable. And you do literally have to pay for every single thing on this flight, even water. Water was $4.99, so if you're gonna use Spirit, definitely bring your own water. I'm getting pretty nervous about the landing. Would you look at that? My phone didn't fall.
I finally made it to Los Angeles. I went and visited the iconic Hollywood sign for the very first time. The view is amazing.
The next airline I'm taking is American Airlines. And I'm extremely excited for this one because this outfit I put together, it's different. Check it out. But all right, let's stop messing around. It's time to expose this 1.3-star airline. Akupanellan P said, worst airlines in the world, delayed 28 hours. They give you just 12 USD voucher, 1 star. Imagine getting delayed for an entire day and you only get $12. That's insane. Kyle Y said, fix your QR codes for your boarding passes, please. The QR codes for my boarding passes aren't loading. What's going on here? 1 star. So there's delays and the boarding passes don't work? This is already looking like it's off to a bad start. Alex Yu said, do not fly American. Absolute worst, most disgusting flight I've ever been on. When we got to our seats, the smell was horrible. There was still uncleared pieces of vomit remnants still on the seatbelt. The crew apologized and gave us a bottle of water, 1 star. So someone puked in the seat that they were sitting in and they didn't even clean it up? I might get sick. Chris S said, and yet another American Airlines horror show. In-flight entertainment failed, then the Wi-Fi. So a long-haul flight with nothing to do, 1 star. What's wrong with American Airlines? These reviews are pretty crazy, but it is time to go inside and do this. Let's go. We made it to the security checkpoint. I hope they let chicken nuggets through. Best outfit award.
Luckily, Chicken Nugget and I made it through security, so I started heading over to the gate for takeoff.
What is that?
That robot is driving itself. All right, I need to stay focused and just head to my gate.
Rest in peace, coffee. I bet you would have tasted good.
I made it to the gate and realized no one is here. No one is behind the counter. Nobody. This is weird because we're supposed to be boarding in 12 minutes and no one is here. Am I missing something?
Oh, excuse me? Do you know if our gate changed?
She said the gate changed and to hurry over because it's on its last boarding call for the flight. So now I'm sprinting through the airport because I didn't get a notification saying the gate changed. And luckily, I made it. But now we're gonna find out if the boarding passes actually don't work like the review said. Because if it's true, I can't get on the plane. Woo! They work!
So far, the boarding passes worked and we were only delayed just a little bit. But with the gate change that I didn't know about. Chicken nugget.
The American Airlines investigation has begun. Let's do this.
I luckily made it onto the plane after all that trouble and put my suitcase in the overhead bin.
We managed to take off. Ohio, here I come.
Wait a second. Someone left a review saying there was pieces of vomit left on their seats. I immediately started looking everywhere and it actually looks clean, except this suspicious stain on the floor.
Guys, it is so early in the morning right now, so it's kind of like awkward filming these 1-star reviews on this flight. Everyone's staring at me, but we got to get to the bottom of why American Airlines is one of the worst airlines in the world. Let's continue the investigation.
My mic just broke. I'm sad now.
Good thing I brought my backup mic because if I didn't, this video would be completely over. Kinda in a bad mood now. I think I need a snack.
Let's see if the flight attendants are nice. I got a biscuit and a cup of water. The flight attendants were pretty nice actually. And after all those biscuits and water, I have to use the bathroom. The first thing I noticed was overflowing trash. Ew, that was gross. But besides some paper towels on the floor, everything else seemed fine. And when I got back to my seat, the person next to me said this.
That there is the biggest solar cycle on Earth right now while we're up in the air. Like, is that even safe? I don't know. But history is being broken while we're flying in the air. Are we gonna be good? On American Airlines, a seat comes with a phone tripod, but not a TV.
If they don't have Wi-Fi like the review said, there's absolutely nothing to do.
They have Wi-Fi. Woo! Yeah! Oh yeah! Woo! Everyone on this flight is knocked out, asleep, and I'm over here testing 1-star reviews. Guys, the funny thing is my parents have no idea I'm coming back to Ohio, and I don't think I've ever showed you guys my hometown house before. I'm really excited to show you guys and to surprise my parents. They're gonna be so confused.
It was a little shaky, but we landed.
We made it to Ohio.
As I was leaving the airport, I met Superman in real life.
I just traveled across the entire world to visit my parents and they have no idea.
Holy crap, Jeremy. What are you doing here?
How's it going?
Oh my god. It's a freaking chicken nugget.
Oh.
This is my living room, a kitchen that's filled with embarrassing photos of me, And I can't forget about... But now it is time for the next airline.
All right, we are now back at the airport because it's time to get on our next flight with Frontier. Woohoo! And I don't know if you guys can notice, I'm actually wearing the best soccer player's jersey in the entire world, and it is... Oh, oops, wait. Ronaldo! Guys, we need to settle this debate right now. Messi or Ronaldo? Comment down below. All right, enough soccer talk, because it's time to get to business. Andy S. said, extremely rude staff. Didn't help with anything. They charged for everything. To my surprise, they charged to print boarding pass $20. Insane service. 1 star. What? They charged $20 to print a boarding pass? That's pretty insane. I actually don't believe that. Josie C. said, I hate Frontier. They are stingy, extra. I've brought my skateboard on so many planes, plus so much more stuff. Nope, they are so mean. 1 star. And guys, because of that, I brought my own skateboard. Frontier, you better let me bring it on. Mary Grace O said, I put my personal size suitcase under my seat as it was designed to do. No problem. After multiple delays, as I was boarding my connecting flight, the gate agent required me to check my bag for $99. 1 star. Even though her suitcase fit underneath her seat, they still asked for $99? That's not how it's supposed to work, Frontier. And guys, the bad thing is, I didn't even bring $99, so that better not be true, or else. Jerome F said, shocking that they threw a single mom and her 2 children who were sleeping at the time off the plane because they overbooked the flight. 1 star. What? So there's a possibility that I might get kicked off the plane? Bro, Frontier. Michelle Smith said, this is the worst airline ever. All their staff, including the flight attendants, are rude and disrespectful. The seats are extremely uncomfortable and the plane had a foul odor. 1 star. So I might get kicked off the plane, might need to pay $99, and the plane smells foul? Robert Posh said, non-reclining seats. Packed like sardines, most uncomfortable seat ever. No water, nothing, nada. Surprised they didn't charge us to use the bathroom. 1 star. Well, with all that being said, let's go inside. All right, we just made it to the entrance of Frontier. It's time to test out the first 1-star review. Wish me luck, please, because these reviews were pretty bad. What? Why is he crying? That might be me if this first review is true. Because Mary Grace said it's $99 to check a bag. If that's actually true, I feel like that's a little insane because that's almost as expensive as the entire flight. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Checking in your bag?
Yes.
Put it on the scale.
And for the moment of truth.
104.
104? Okay, got it.
I seriously can't believe you had to pay $100 just to bring your suitcase? This means Mary Grace O's review is definitely true.
If you actually had to pay $20 to just print your boarding pass, that's pretty insane. If this ends up being true, I can totally see why Frontier has a terrible rating.
Now I'm skating over to my gate and I'm gonna ask to print my boarding pass. Cause we're gonna find out if it actually costs $20 to print it like Andy said.
Hey, does it cost any money to print the boarding pass? Oh, it's $25? Okay. All right, it's time to head to the flight.
Do you guys remember the review with all the emojis? Well, we're about to put it to the test.
Guys, if you already clean your phone, please turn the brightness all the way up.
That kind of hurt, but I made it onto the flight with the skateboard. Josie C, if you're watching this right now, I apologize. All right, since we are now seated on the plane, let's stop talking about Josie C and let's talk about Jerome's review. Because apparently they kick people off the flight from overbooking. If I get kicked off this flight, I'm gonna be pretty upset. Because right now I'm flying to Seattle to see some really cool. Then all the flight attendants started looking stressed out. It looks like they're trying to solve a problem. Is this flight overbooked? If I get kicked off the flight like Jerome's review said, I'm going to cry. Whew. Thankfully, we ended up taking off with no problems. And now we're officially in the air. I am kind of thirsty, but apparently they have 0 water on this flight. I still find that hard to believe, so let's see if Robert is actually telling the truth.
Can I just have a cup of water?
Cup of water?
Yes.
Sure. Would you like ice?
Yes, please.
Okay, you got it.
She was so nice and the water was free.
In Robert's review, he also complained about the seats not reclining. Okay, these seats definitely do not recline because there's literally no room in between the person behind me and my seat.
And then I noticed there was an entire row with no one there.
doesn't get much better than this.
This is way better than my other seat.
The reviews on this airline were terrible, but honestly, I'm having that 5-star experience. All right, let me stop messing around and go back to my seat before I get kicked off this flight.
Also, I can't forget about Michelle's review. She mentioned that the flight attendants are rude and disrespectful, but today they've been extremely nice. And I almost forgot to mention earlier, they gave me a real flight attendant's badge out of nowhere. I feel kind of special. Michelle also said the plane had a foul odor, but to me it seems fine, so Michelle's review is false.
Bathroom break. Woo! I do not fit in this bathroom. I'm freaking uncomfortable. These freaking seats don't recline. What am I supposed to do? That's freaking lame. We landed in Seattle. Thank you for getting us here safe. I made it with the skateboard off the flight. Let's go.
Now that we're finally in Seattle, I went and visited the Space Needle in real life. It's so high in the air. And lastly, I went to go see the famous gum wall in person.
All right, guys, it is now time for my next flight, and the next airline I'm taking is Southwest. And the reviews that were left on this specific airline are insane. Let's take a look at the 1-star reviews. Overstock O said, every flight I'm on is always delayed. If you fly this POS airline, you know, 1 star. What does POS mean? Okay, that better not be true because I hate getting delayed. No one wants to be sitting around for hours, especially at the airport. J.G. said, I was assaulted by a flight attendant. As I was saying goodbye to my husband on the phone, a male flight attendant leaned past 2 passengers to jab his fingers into my shoulder. I was sitting in the window seat and suddenly felt pain in my shoulder from this male flight attendant's assault. 1 star. Stephanie Page said, pooped on. Literally. We noticed a very bad smell coming from the woman in front of us. I reached under to get my belongings under her seat. Noticed that there was poop all over my things, which by then had also gone onto my arms and legs. 1 star. That has to be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Dude, I might gotta put on some armor because I am not trying to get pooped on, especially my outfit. Come on, I'm wearing white shorts. That would not look good. Boom, I am all suited up and ready for the flight. This is the only extra outfit I have. Well, that I packed. Here, let's move on to the next review. Denise L said, there was an older flight attendant that was not allowing people to get to the bathroom. She tossed snacks at you and yelled at an elderly gentleman. 1 star. It seems like all the flight attendants are evil. Katie B said, the bathroom was disgusting and had feces on the rim of the toilet. 1 star. Southwest seems like a pretty bad airline. There was poop on the toilet? Dang, looks like I'm not gonna use the bathroom the entire flight. Alfifa Y said, the landing was the most horrible experience I'd ever had with any airlines. I really thought we weren't gonna make it. 1 star. Christopher R said, I'd almost rather not travel at all than sit on this cattle car and bake because the AC sucks. 0 legroom and no arm room. So frustrating. 1 star. Well, with that being said, it's time to hop on our Southwest flight. This sounds amazing, right guys? I'm joking, it doesn't sound good at all.
I made it inside the airport and it took over an hour to get through security.
All right, we made it through security. Southwest, you are not ready for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just got to our gate, but let's just hope we don't get delayed like all the 1-star reviews say. Because if so, that would suck. I don't like sitting and doing nothing. That's boring. So let's hope it doesn't get delayed. Hi, do you know if this flight is delayed or not?
It is delayed a little bit. So we're about 21 minutes delayed right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
The flight is delayed by 27 minutes.
So it seems to me like Overstock O's review is true. It's true. We're freaking delayed right now. And the bad thing about this is I'm not taking a direct flight to the next place I'm going to. I'm on a connecting flight. So I might miss my next flight because of this delay. Am I gonna type up a 1-star review?
So now I'm gonna sit down and wait. Every single seat is taken, like actually. So looks like I'm just sitting on the floor.
There's literally no seats at all. All the seats are taken. So I'm just trying to... Okay, no, this is kind of uncomfortable actually.
Then I noticed the plane arrived and it looks like it's finally getting set up for boarding.
Subscribe.
So I'm gonna go back to the same spot on the floor. It got taken? Now there's really nowhere to sit.
All right, so for Sacramento flight 403, we're gonna start with our pre.
We're boarding. Woo! Just a little bit late. Hello. Thank you. Woo! Well, what the heck? Where are we at right now? Southwest. It's on.
Yes, please spread out through the gap and lots of good spots.
Yo, it's kind of a vibe on this flight.
Made it. onto the flight. Made it onto the flight. Woo!
Stuff's about to get serious because apparently J.G. said that she got assaulted by a male flight attendant while she was on her phone. It's on.
So I started talking on my phone during the in-flight announcements, and don't worry, I'm still paying attention, of course. And then, just like the review said, a male flight attendant walked up to me. He only gave me a little friendly tap.
We were supposed to take off at 6, and it's currently 6:33 right now. Southwest, 33 minutes late.
Waiting for this flight to take off is longer than the entire flight itself.
Another 15 minutes have gone by, and we still haven't taken off yet. Southwest, what's going on, man? Overstock O's review is too true right now. Sheesh.
The plane finally took off 7 minutes later.
Dang, it's freaking pitch black now. Hey, what happened to the lights? Who turned them off? If I miss my flight because of this, I'm gonna write the craziest one-star review ever. Southwest, don't make me do it.
Now I'm sprinting as fast as I can, trying to catch my connecting flight because it's already boarding. We still have more one-star reviews to test.
I made it. I didn't think I was gonna make that at first. Woo.
I checked in and made it on the flight. I was so worried because that first flight was extremely delayed.
I'm pretty tall, and I have a good amount of leg room. Now let's find out if the AC is strat or not. Hopefully it's strat, because it's kind of hot on this plane.
I turn on the AC and barely any air is coming out.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna have to say that Christopher's review is false. I got leg room, I got arm room, but the AC does kind of suck.
I'm really scared to ask for a snack because Denise said the flight attendants toss it at you.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I didn't get the snacks tossed at me. She was actually very polite. Snack time.
All right, now I'm gonna attempt to use the bathroom because apparently you're not allowed to. And to take a closer inspection, I brought this, a black light.
I got up and walking straight to the bathroom and no one is stopping me. Katie said the bathroom was disgusting, so let's check it out.
I think it's safe to say that this review is false. The bathrooms aren't that bad. And also, with that being said, the review about not being able to use the bathroom is also false. I walked myself straight to the bathroom and nobody said a thing. Another false review.
I just realized I got lucky. We can't forget that Stephanie got pooped on while on a Southwest flight. I've been on 2 flights in total and that has not happened to me. I do still have an hour left, so let's hope that doesn't change. I'm gonna move my bag just in case. I'm starting to get really nervous about the landing because Afifa said the landings are the most horrible experience he's had with any airline. I survived. Woo! It was a little rough, but it wasn't that bad. I just overheard someone and they said something happened at the front of the plane. Someone puked in the aisle during the landing. I hope they're okay. But we finally made it to New York. And while I was here, I took a boat to go see the Statue of Liberty in real life. And the best part was meeting all of you.
Guys, that's gonna be me in a few moments right there. Flying on a plane into the water. Really? Wish me luck.
This is a seaplane. It's an aircraft that can apparently land and fly off water.
And all the reviews that were left on this place are just talking about how terrified people are to go on the plane. That doesn't sound so safe. Guys, I know I survived the first 4 airlines, but what about this? This looks absolutely insane. Am I gonna make it out of this alive?
Dan S. said, saw a shark in the water while landing. If it wasn't a shark, then it was definitely something lurking around in the water. 1 star. If there's something lurking around in the water, like what would it be? Danica R. said, flight was pretty cool, but I spilled my coffee all over myself when we landed. Ouch. 1 star. Why would you be drinking something as hot as coffee while landing though? And especially on this. Robert C. said, I thought we were gonna sink in the water. 1 star. Wait, what? I mean, this looks safe, right? It's able to float in the water right now, so it should do that when we're landing, right? Yeah, it'll be fine. Carmen P. said, I scheduled a flight and even paid for it. But right when I arrived at the takeoff location, I turned back around and went home. Looked way too scary. No thank you, 1 star. So I'm in the takeoff location right now and I honestly feel the exact same way. I mean, dude, this looks pretty crazy.
I've never been so nervous to get on a plane in my entire life.
Oh man. All right.
I walked on and got in the seat right behind the pilot. But now it's time to take off. Wish me luck.
Oh my God. This is crazy.
This plane is a lot smaller than any of the other airlines I've taken today. It can only fit around 8 people. A seaplane can't be heavy, or it'll just sink in the water.
All right, guys, we have currently made it up in the air, and the view is insane. So far, the flight's pretty smooth, but I have no idea what to expect for the landing, though. Pretty nervous.
Okay, I'm just gonna try and relax and enjoy the view or something.
Guys, I'm getting very, very nervous on what the landing is gonna be like.
Am I gonna make it? Is this the last flight I'll ever take?
I have never, ever been on something like this before, and I'm pretty freaked out right now. Maybe all the other airlines weren't so bad after all. And guys, don't forget, there was multiple reviews talking about how terrifying this plane was, and I can definitely see why. I might gotta leave a review of my own. There's no bathroom, there's no water, there's no snacks on this plane. Come on, man. Really? I'm just joking. I don't really care. I just wanna land safely. Oh no, we're about to land. Am I alive?
Everybody's watch your head coming out the door.
Oh my God. We made it. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I can't believe I just did that. But anyways, click here. Hurry!